Łukasz Karaszewski, the founder of Buglo, started his business in 2010 in a small warehouse in Koszalin. Today, the company supplies playgrounds to 60 countries around the world.
The playground was primarily a drying rack, the drying rack in front of the block where we used to play. A safe surface in the form of concrete slabs, and in the safety zone, some large concrete planters, so yes, I remember. And the trees, all the surrounding ones and garages were playgrounds. I definitely had the feeling that I wanted to do something important in life, that's all I can say, but it certainly wasn't related to business. I always engaged in creative activities, doing something that were related to creating, building with blocks. That's what I remember from childhood. And I think that in that direction I might have seen my future, to do something interesting based on creativity, but definitely not with playbacks, because they didn't exist back then, first of all. And secondly, business. At that time, it was a complete abstraction for me. And I can't say that I planned it. I'd already been working in the playground industry for 2 years. I was finishing my doctorate and intended to stay in Szczecin. I thought my future was relatively stable. But seeing the playground industry, especially in Poland, I saw that it was very unprofessional at that time. Such quality and safety assumptions were very different than those in other countries at that time. Western. And I saw great potential in the fact that it could be done much better, much more appealingly. And because I didn't have any business or professional experience at that time, I didn't realize how difficult it was, and that's probably why I started it. Did I see the dissonance between what was being done in the West and what was in Poland? And I saw that there was a very large potential for growth that would come soon, because just like all other good practices that came to us, surely the same would happen. Professional playgrounds would appear, so I decided it was now or never. When you're in your early 20s, you don't have much to lose, so you can risk everything. It all started with a meeting with my partner at the time, completely by chance at some christening. In the restaurant we sat next to each other, and word by word we came to the conclusion that we could start such an endeavor together. He had some experience in business, which also gave me a sense of comfort at the beginning, that I didn't have to worry about all those things. Administrative, financial. I thought I knew about it, at least it seemed to me at the time that I knew about it. What I was doing, life later verified that. But yes, that's how it started. It was some impulse, some kind of catalyst, and from that moment everything took off. The first months will work for 16-20 hours even. The first year was a nightmare. Constant stress, fatigue, lack of money for everything. I remember situations where I even had to borrow tools from my own father because there simply weren't enough resources for everything. But from the beginning I believed that it made sense, that we were heading in the right direction. Any troubles were temporary. And from the start I didn't want the company to be just a local Polish one, but to operate internationally. That confidence associated with a lack of knowledge and experience helped a lot, and at that time we didn't analyze too much. Simply, step by step, we took actions that we hoped would bring results, and those that didn't taught us to take a slightly different path. Indeed, by trial and error, we did this, but only in the context of business activities. As for the products themselves, I believe we didn't have any, for example, dead ends that we had to back out of, or that we made any major mistakes. Rather, our products were well received by the market from the start. The product that has been selling in the largest volume every year for 15 years is the seesaw, which was designed by me as the first product, and indeed it is still there. In the offer it appears on probably every other playground. It is very simple, very stylistically minimalistic, but surprisingly this product is still #1 overall. Given that it was supposed to be a manufacturing company I realized from the beginning that I wouldn't be able to do it alone, and it would be necessary to build a team. And the first people were Mr. Janusz Paweł Nosal, who was the second employee and is still with us today, and Leszek, who retired 2 years ago, but his sons still work here. So some kind of attraction must have worked. Besides analyzing whether the candidate always has the appropriate competencies, I always wanted to talk with them for a few minutes about even unrelated matters, just to see if such a person or person, what my intuition tells me. And it was indeed the case that after just a few minutes I knew whether I wanted to work with that person or not. Because whether they have the right knowledge at that moment or not is a secondary issue, as they can learn everything, but how will they fit into the team? People with whom working is unpleasant or somewhat, let's say, we see that it's not right, there's no chemistry, then it won't work. I did this a few times, hired a person despite such a feeling, and usually such cooperation didn't last long. I always valued the opinions of those who put their heart into the company the most. And such people are still here today, both in the production area and in the office. And I always cared about listening to these people, asking what they had to say, because if someone truly cared and put their heart and all their energy into their work and did it with passion, I believe that they knew best what in the given area which they are familiar with we should improve, enhance. And I always tried to keep these people close to me here. With many clients I have relationships, personal ones, almost like with family, including some private visits as well, because when at work you spend up to 16 hours a day and talk to these clients more often than with your family, well, it's hard to expect that these relationships will be different. So yes, long-term relationships and very nice ones. And I think for many years to come. From the beginning I wanted this company to be significant. When colleagues hear it, even today, they laugh that at the beginning I told them that at some point we would dethrone the leader. In our industry, in the Polish market, this happened in 2016. And year by year it seems more likely that we are getting closer to achieving this in Europe. So, well, I think it would be a shame to get so deeply involved in a project that wasn't ambitious. So I think it's worth doing, it's worth setting high goals for yourself, because if we believe in something, there's nothing that can't be done.